Uh, Realize that futures trading is risky and only risk capital should be deployed for trading. Thanks for visiting with us today on our recording. I'm going to show you how I set up a temporary hedge on this big rally we've just had, about 1,000 Dow points, and I'm going to go over that with you in a minute. So again, remember the risk disclosure statement, and here's two things I wanted to show you to analyze. First of all, the market was up substantially here earlier on the mini NASDAQ, which is what we trade, and I informed everybody in our room today we wanted to put a relatively small hedge on the market upness because it's going to take a hit, and I was citing the reasons that we're going to have a negative GDP um, reading this week. Most likely could be some big headline like depression era type levels. Well, we all know what happened, and we took a hit on that, and more on that in a minute. But we can see, and we took a short on the mini NASDAQ a little bit early because I thought they might get hit a little bit early up here at 52 to 54 area, just around the opening range top here. And they took a little hit, but they kept jamming and goosing it up. Well, that's fine. We were looking for about a 10-point move, and they kept jamming and goosing it up. And we held the stop. The hard stop was 64 here, and the mental stop was 62, but I didn't want to get faked out. I felt that would happen, and you can see from the chart here, it definitely did. So we held the short, and they kept ramming and jamming it up there, and they came very close to our 64 at 63.50 or 64 hard 12-point stop. So what I did was I advised the room to move that stop to 20 points, which we had been using all through March in the early part of this month, a 20-point stop. But I just said for this one, raise it back up there just so we don't have to sit here and sweat, and we'll just kind of use a 64 as a mental stop. Well, luckily 63.50 was indeed the peak, and they came crashing down here, and our target goal was 42 to 43.50, and we got that accomplished for a 8.5 to 10-point move on that trade. But I was thinking it would make a bigger picture move, but we're scalpers here in the room, so that was our normal scalp in this current environment, 8 to 10 points. So, in which again alone creates a $500 to $1,000 paycheck for our room members trading for mini NASDAQ contracts. What's wrong with that? Take the paycheck, stop trading. That's our philosophy in the room. Now, prior to this trade here, which was one of our volunteer trades, we have a volunteer trade after we hit our target. I had made two trades earlier, and we made a grand total of 1350 points, which produced, if you took the exact trades, got the exact entry and exits I did on four mini S&P or four mini Nasdaq contracts, would have produced $1,044 paycheck after commission. So while I was holding this short, and it was kind of weird, and they were kept grinding it, but I was expecting they would try to grind that high up a little bit. Looking back at, I'm starting to see that it was probably what I call a crony loading operation. If you remember that movie Wall Street, that's where Gordon Gekko, remember that was a great role played by Mike Douglas, and Bud Fox, played by Charlie Sheen. Again, a breakout role for him. Excellent job. Uh, Bud Fox, he finally gets initiated into Gordon Gekko, the market manipulator. It was an 80s film, so that was the big talk. Ooh, inside trading. Ooh, it's illegal. Go to jail forever. Well, anyway, Gordon Gekko taught Bud Fox, and he had this code word. He says, and this is an example of what I call crony loading. They're talking about Blue Horseshoe loves Anacott steel. In other words, they were trying to load people on buying Anacott steel, and they had this network. So Bud Fox, he said, call this number and tell him Blue Horseshoe, that was a code name for Gekko, likes Anacott steel. And he says, load your account with it. And so Fox calls him and says, load all the accounts. Blue Horseshoe likes Anacott Steel. That's called a crony loading operation. All of a sudden, all the headlines is all over Wall Street because all these brokerages from that, they're all in that network, were buying Anacott Steel. If you watch that movie, if you get a chance, if you're a trader, watch that movie. I think you'll really like it. It's a good movie to watch. And Daryl Hannah's in that movie too. She plays an interesting role. But so all of a sudden it's all over the news, and they have the news networks come on. Anacott Steel, a surprise move by them, and it's showing how the markets are rigged in that way. Anyway, so I call what I think today was a crony loading operation, because notice how they're getting up here. It was exhausted on my indicators. They kept grabbing the dips and jamming them up. Grab it and jam it. Grab it like a rabbit and jam it up there. Ever seen rabbits, how they're so fast, like little lightning bolts? They get afraid and they just zoom, they're gone. You don't even see them practically, so fast. They have to have that defense to run away from all the animals trying to catch them and eat them, so that they got speed as a defense. So we do, as day traders action members, we also have that. We grab it like a rabbit all the time. We have that same defense, that speed to get in and out of trades. So up here I was loading the symbol SH. This way you're going to watch on the video here on YouTube and you can see how it pans out. But I'm buying SH. Our average room price was around $2, and our last buy was at 248, and our first one was 258. So right in the middle would be whatever that is, around 2452 would be our average price on symbol SH, which is a one time only, not a two or triple times. One time inverse funds short the S&P 500. So I was just looking here for the room members on this calendar, and I think there'll be some tomorrow. The FOMC meeting starts, and I think there'll be some little possible hints of negativity, or they're going to try to re-goose it back up and do some more crony loading. But it just naturally falls to reason. So I was doing what I was perceiving as a crony loading. I was doing the same and buying this symbol SH to get short on a safer way through an inverse fund, for a possible stronger downside move. So Wednesday is the key though, because here's this key here: GDP, gross domestic product, GDP number coming out tomorrow could end up showing depression era level numbers. Obviously we had to take this one hit because of this stupid coronavirus thing that's not as big a deal as they've made it out to be. No reason to put you in permanent house arrest. That's what they call it, a lockdown, and all these stay at home. It's called a house arrest, especially when people go outside and they get tickets and all. That's like, same as being under house arrest. Not very good and unconstitutional as all get up. So that has to be challenged completely. But on another point here is GDP, watching some of these other reports, State Street investor consumer confidence, right as the room normally opens. We stand aside on Wednesday, but I may be in for early morning commentary just to see how things go. Then we got a petroleum status report, because here in the room we are also long crude oil through a couple of very conservative instruments, which I'll show you in a second here. Then they have the Fed chair confidence. Now we're just looking this all over. What's coming up Thursday? What about the are there going to be an oh, there it is. I thought so. Okay, so pre-market Thursday, jobless claims. Will the jobless claims be higher? We know that they might be. Unemployment cost index. Some of these things here could also feed the panic of a possible negative GDP and slam this market down. I'll show you some things in a minute here. Could be substantially I don't know how much percentage. I don't have any estimate. We just have to go by the numbers. But I'll show you something in a minute here. And then manufacturing into so this week. Plus, you have earnings reports of it. It could be a mixed bag. They could take a hit. Where do I get out on the hedge? It's just there to protect some of our um, stocks we've had. Now, whoops, recently, mid last month, I bought DocuSign at $71, and it's just been soaring. We're up 50% in a little less than a month with current price 108. I think more to go, up 3.19 today. Hercules Capital is one of our wonderful dividend payers here. So DocuSign and Hercules Capital up 7.13 today. Wall Street climbing back into this after the hit everything took in March from this phony coronavirus. What's phony, the disease was there, but what's phony is how it was all perpetrated on us by the Chinese communists through the Wuhan labs, which were funded by this little twerp you see standing up there at the medical briefings with President Trump, which he's since discontinued because it just turned into a fake news fiasco. That little twerp invested almost $3 million through the WHO and other agencies into the Wuhan lab that created this coronavirus. Bill Gates also is involved in the criminal activity of perpetrating this on America. Don't listen to anything Bill Gates says. These people want to kill us. You can see it. That may sound outrageous, but maybe if we didn't have the Wuhan virus, but take a look around and look what happened. All these amped up fake death reports, medical doctors coming out and saying they've been trying to force us to report everything as a coronavirus death. I'm telling you, the whole plan was to put the whole country under house arrest, destroy the economy, to get rid of President Trump. They tried everything else with the fake impeachment and the Mueller report. It's all falling apart. It's disgusting. This should make you very angry. But I'm going to show you one other thing that's going to really ideally set you off. We got to work together, keep our country free. But anyway, on oil, we bought oil in the form of this instrument here, DIG, which is a Dow. It's a ETF of Dow, top oil companies in Dow, not wildcatters or anything, but companies that are in the business of producing oil and storing oil and all that. And particularly TYG is a huge dividend payer that consists of the world's top storage companies, energy, storage, transportation. Well, we know now, if you watch the news, that right now many dozens of giant tanker ships are docked outside of California. They have nowhere to store their oil. They're sitting there. It's a little bit of a tragedy, but you know how resourceful America is. Those are the world's largest company. There's trillions of dollars worth of brilliant talent and everything, and they are figuring out ways right now, I'm sure, how to create storage for this oil. It's just something that got sprung on everybody. It's disgusting. You can have Fauci and Bill Gates, the communist so-called Democrats. Look, the Democratic Party died when Kennedy got killed by the deep state. That's the same people that are unleashing this disease on us, this virus. Same exact people. They're not Democrat or Republican. You know, they're just into taking over America, controlling it. So it really caught a lot of steam when George Bush Sr. got himself in there. Mr. Read my lips. I'm the head of the globalist agenda, So anyway, enough about that loser. He's gone. That's a whole story in itself. But look at this. I know you couldn't even hardly believe it, but look at the dividend yield on TYG, 42% payment to you for owning TYG stock. Well, like everything, it crashed. But look at the highs up here at 28 or 18, 19 bucks. Think about it. If TYG simply bounces back from this area to 6, 7 bucks, which is only like less than a half from the peak up here. Look at this, even like right here, 12.96. If this just bounces back to 7 bucks, you can have a 100% return and up 42% while you wait. Not a bad deal. Or up 42, not, I'm sorry, 42% dividend yield payment to you for owning the stock while you wait for this maybe to double, get up to 7 bucks. That's a good little investment. Anyway, I thought I'd show you that. DIG you can look up on your own. So we bought the DocuSign, like I said, we got almost a 50% gain, maybe slightly more, in just less than a month. And we're also long Uber of all things too. And Uber picking up steam. We're long at Uber at 22 bucks. I give these recommendations once in a while. Sometimes we'll go months and I don't have anything new, so we don't recommend anything. But we have mostly dividend paying stuff, so that's where you can put some money when you make your money trading the futures with us in the Day Traders Action Room. You know, we have a very high average percentage of winning trades every day. And so today I'm showing you this is an oil chart. We're not running anything. I just kind of keep an eye on the price, but we're this was that setup. So watch those times and dates, mainly the GDP on Wednesday and tomorrow's consumer confidence report, and then on Thursday, Friday, watch for unemployment type reports and things like that. And ideally, if it pans out as expected, and I'm not bearish on the markets by any stretch, I've been bullish since that bottoming period. And again, buying these instruments near the bottom too. Watching for just a little bit of a hit to take place over the next week or two, and then ideally we'll just sell the SH and we're good to go. So right now they're right at the entry price we had at 24.52. I bought some at 24.48. That was about the lowest price I had. So, and I was buying them earlier, so all the way as much as 69, but it doesn't matter. The idea is that if we just we get the hit we expect, I don't even know. I think you can figure 10% is $2.50 approximately. So if we go from 24.52 plus 250, so 10% is like $27, and it goes up from there. $27. In a perfect world, they really slam it. I don't know how hard they'll hit it, but $27 is okay, or 29 maybe, 28.50. At that point, you just have to look at the chart and decide. And we'll have updates in the Day Traders Action Room. By the way, I'm really trying to encourage you to protest all this garbage. This is unconstitutional. Locking people in their houses under house arrest is complete garbage. And then they have you wear the mask like a good little slave so they can watch you and say, oh, look. And social distancing. It's all a method of getting you to separate so they can track you on drones. They're even encouraging, Bill Gates is trying to encourage you to get this app so that you can snitch on people and we can track you. What kind of creep show is this? You know, this has to be very, very aggressively protested, all by legal means, but vocally. Look at this. So just going to ask you to do this and share this with all your friends, people you know who walking around with their mask on and they get mad at you if you don't have one on. Does corona, oh, I've already got it on. Does coronavirus spread through the air? Just type in those words. Does coronavirus spread through the air? Click your entry. Common question. COVID alert. Can the coronavirus disease spread through the air? The virus that causes coronavirus, COVID-19, is mainly transmitted through droplets generated when an infected person, you got to be sick first of all, coughs, sneezes, or speaks. These droplets are too heavy to hang in the air. They quickly fall on floors or surfaces. You can be infected by breathing in the virus if you're within 1 meter of a person. Well, think about it. Social distancing is a waste of time. Maybe it has some value, but this is not really, the mortality rate is less than the common flu. And an average of 3 to 5,000 people spread over a year die every year from the flu. So where is the big pandemic? But wearing this goofy mask is not going to protect you unless you're like within kissing distance of the person in the store you're waiting in the grocery line, and they have to have the illness and they have to be coughing or sneezing or something. So just look this up and share that with your friends. I think it's a good idea. So I want to thank you for joining with us now. You've seen this video recording live. Watch the reaction on the market. Let's see if they drop them down over the next 2 to 3 to 4 days, or basically just this week. Now we have earnings too coming out, earnings reports, earnings season's winding down. So that may cause some flip-flop in the markets as well. But I really want to thank you for joining us on this video today, and have a good rest of the day.